Video games are the greatest. There's platformers, RPGs, first-person shooters, the list goes on. But what is the best game that could ever be made? In search of an answer, I put together a team of 198 neuroscientists and the highest of tech equipment. And with that, I have created the best game ever. Our research shows that everyone loves explosions. Like really, really loves explosions. I figured that if the game was focused around explosions, nobody could hate it. Speaking of things nobody hates, cute little animals. Look at this adorable chicken. If you take two things that everyone loves, toss them in the blender, then you will get the ultimate lovable thing. With this amazing plan, I fired all of the scientists, discrediting all of their amazing research, and popped open Unity. The idea was a physics-based game where you attach explosives to a chicken and launch him to his nest. I'm going to be calling it Cockadoodle Boom. While Unity was loading, I went to Turbo Squid and stole this sick chicken model made by Quince 3D, link in the description. I also opened up Blender and made a model for the nest. Believe me, I tried. Back in Unity, I put together a blueprint skyboxed drawing board phase scene. Then I made a couple of scripts, one to look around the chicken, one to click and drag the explosives. When the explosives are close enough to the chicken, a little green checkbox will allow you to finish placing it. This just sets it as a child of the chicken's game object. I also added an undo and cancel button. Once there is at least one explosive on the chicken, a ready button will appear on the left bar. I have three different types of explosives: a C4, a light little precise one, a dynamite, a big strong one, but I couldn't figure out what to do for the third. I opened Discord in search of answers. Yes! And here we have the Sansmung Note 7. It changes gravity relative to its position on the chicken. Want gravity to pull up? Put it on top of the chicken. Want to pull gravity to the right? I'll put it on the right side of the chicken. Thanks to the Brackies Discord for suggestions. To animate the UI, I stole a lean tween off the Unity Asset Store. I also stole this cool cartoon shader for the chicken. I created a reusable level manager script. When the level is loaded, it checks if there is a chicken. If there is a chicken, it instantiates buttons for all of the explosives in the order that they were placed on the chicken. These buttons will make the explosives, get this, explode. It also gives the chicken a rigid body, so you know it can explode. If there isn't a chicken, it moves the camera to a new position, attaches a rigid body, and pushes it and rotates it in a specified direction. This effect was heavily inspired by Mario Kart. The level manager also slides in the level's name, however currently it is unskippable. The chicken is carried between scenes with the do not destroy on load method. When you run out of explosives, this handy little retry button appears. Clicking it will kill the chicken and reload the level. Now, I gave this version of the game to some friends and had them test it out. They said that watching the little opening scene every time was pretty annoying, and I can see why. They also suggested to keep the explosives so they can try again faster and edit their designs. So being the awesome cool dude that I am, clicking during the cutscene will skip it, and your explosives will save when you retry the level. I also added a retry menu. You can restart from the start and try again, or go back to the workshop. Or go to the main menu. Oh yeah, I made a main menu. It's more of a level select, but it's good for now. I put the nest with some new textures into Unity. I also drew a cool looking level complete UI sprite. When you collide with the nest, the sprite dances around and then a menu with the options to move on to the next level and go to the main menu will slide in. After completing all of this, it was time to make some levels. Thank you to my friend Joe for providing some sick level designs. The first level is just a small gap, the second has a wall, and the third level has a saw. All of the decorative assets like the flowers and the saw were drawn in Microsoft Paint. For the fourth level, I needed some new assets, so I opened up MS Paint and I drew some crystals and rocks. I went with a sick underground cave theme. I made a lava shader following REM118's tutorial because I totally know how to use Unity's shader graph. You hop over a big pit of lava to reach the nest. In the fifth level, I put the nest upside down on top of a big hole, where you start at the bottom. You have to climb up while avoiding the saws on the walls. The sixth level was originally designed by Joe. You have to bounce up into the air, avoid the saw on the left, bounce over to the right, avoid the saw on the right, and then bounce backwards and to the left again to reach the nest, while not falling in the lava. I thought 6 levels would be a nice number for each world, so I started working on the second world. I have this easier level where a saw goes around in circles. The 8th level is pretty funky. You gotta hit this here button, which opens the gate, allowing you to reach the nest. The 9th level is probably my favorite one. You need to bounce over the first pit of lava, hit the button in the middle that moves the gate blocking the nest down, then launch over the second pit of lava, but not get diced into nuggets. The 10th level requires some precise timings. You need to reach a button on the top right, which opens all of the gates, then launch yourself really far left to reach the nest. The next level is also pretty funky. This was the point where I started running out of ideas, as you could probably tell. You have to launch up, hit the button, then launch yourself right midair, then launch up again to maybe reach the nest. Right now the game looks pretty terrible, so I added some post-processing and bloom. Now that's looking pretty snazzy if I do say so myself. Now about that main menu situation. I put the chicken in the center of the screen and put him on top of a med platform I made in Blender. He rotates in one direction forever. Fabulous. I used a little toy-like button from one of my previous projects for the play, hats, and more button. Yes, I said hats. Hats. Top hat, devil horns, plunger, sunglasses, alien eyes, fedora, and bean. Thanks to my friend Nick for the beans model. Now right now all of the hats don't exactly fit inside the box, but I'll fix that another day. I drew a logo for the game and put it in the top center of the screen. The More tab just has a link to one of my other projects and a link to the channel. To add a little more to the graphics, I created a small slide in and out, circle wipe-ish transition. Now the game lacks something that every great game has: audio. I stole some sound effects of chickens off of Google and a few others to create. No chickens were harmed in the creation of these sound effects. Maybe. I also added some screen shake for explosions and death. So you may be wondering, where can I play the game? You can wait, I'm not done yet. I plan on adding a third world. If you have any ideas for levels, hand them over, I have none left. Have a good day.